Okay, awesome. All right, so this is the first episode of the Circlecast. My first guest ever for my first ever interview with any bands is Beneath Purgatory. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
Sure. We're Beneath Purgatory. I am Logan. I do drums. I did vocals on all the albums, though that's not me anymore. Because that's your cue.
Oh, what's up? I'm Andrew. I'm the I'm the new vocalist of Beneath Purgatory. What's up?
Welcome.
And I'm Ian. I play bass. I do some of the backup vocals, and I don't know, credits on maybe 2 or 3 songs.
That's awesome. We are missing 2 members.
Yes, we're missing Phoenix. He's our lead guitar player. He's been with us for 2-ish years now. And we're missing Connor, our rhythm guitar player, who's been with us for 2-ish months now. So
Damn
yeah,
guitar.
we are missing the string section. They both could not make it.
No, we have 1/3 of the string section over here. You can't forget him.
I mean the string section that matters. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
That's the
Yeah, so
rhythm
we're
section
missing
right there.
we're missing Phoenix and Connor, but we've got the low end and yeah, Andy does some lows. Yeah, we got the low end today.
60% of BP here today.
There it is.
Well, thank you guys for being my first guest. I really do appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, man, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
So I guess I'll start it out with who started BP and when?
Yeah, the start of BP was honestly hilarious. I met Jesylin Stelmach freshman year on the second day of orientation. And we jammed like a ton. And then one day we went to the basement of the music building at the college we went to. And I was wearing a Transylvanian Hunger shirt for Dark Throne. And she was just like, hey, let's just like make some shitty black metal. So we did, and I hit record on my iPhone. It was an iPhone 5, so it sounded horrible. And we decided, you know what, this is gonna be a band. So it kind of started as just a joke and a jam, and then it kind of turned into a project that we didn't take seriously. And then as it started getting a little bit more serious, we took it more serious. But yeah, it really just started with her and I just kind of jamming and just saying, screw it, we've already got things recorded.
That's sick. Do you know around what time this was when you guys started the band?
This was like mid-October 2018. So we're coming up on 5 years. Holy Jesus.
That's half a decade right there. Half a
Oh my
decade.
God. Wow. So yeah, mid-October is I think, I don't remember the exact day. I might be able to, I know it was a Saturday, so maybe I'd be able to figure out what day it is. I don't know, but yeah.
I mean, mid-October is pretty good. That's pretty close pinpoint. And a Saturday, it's even more.
Because I mean that's my girlfriend at the time was visiting and it was on a Saturday, so that's the only reason I remember.
Mid-October on a Saturday.
Yeah.
That's only got to be like what, 2 Saturdays or something.
Right. Yeah. Literally, there's only
It could be figured out.
Definitely be figured out. That's so funny. Oh man. But how do we get to our current lineup? Like, when did Ian join? When did you join?
Ian, you want to talk about that one?
Yeah. So the band had been around. I joined in my first show was in January of 2020 at Frozen Massacre. Logan had talked to me in, must have been like probably November of 2019, because they were playing the show. They knew about the show, but their bass player at the time, Jimmy Jackson, was not going to be able to make it because he had another commitment or whatever. I don't even remember what it was at this point, but Logan knew that I played bass, and I was like, yeah, man, I black metal's not really my thing, but if you ever need a bass player to fill in, just hit me up, let me know. I'd be glad to do it. So he was like, hey, remember when you said you'd sub in a band if I needed you to? It's like, yeah. He was like, well, I need you to. So I was like, all right, sweet, let's do it. So I learned 8 or 10 songs in about a month, and played this show as my first ever show, any time ever playing an instrument in front of people. And it was incredible. It was such a good show. Like, we still look back on that show and like the lore of BP. It was such a fun show. And then shortly after that, Jimmy stepped out of the band because he wanted to pursue some musical interests of his own. And he's done some really cool stuff, since departing with BP. Like, he's got a short film out that's won a bunch of awards. He's doing music projects and stuff too. So yeah, Logan asked me if I wanted to step in full time, and I was like, fucking sure, let's do it. And here we are.
That's sick as hell. That was a really good answer. I like that.
Yeah,
really good.
With Jimmy, it's so fascinating because he never really liked metal ever. He was a jazz musician and like a psych rock musician.
Jimmy was, yeah.
So when he, said that he wanted to kind of pursue some other stuff with music, it made sense. I mean, he was on our first record.
Yeah.
But like, thank God we had Ian already kind of broken in a little bit. So it was a really smooth transition. And, from there, at that time too, I mean, before Jimmy stepped away, we had made the conscious decision to move on from Jez. She was just in like 8 or 9 bands at the time, and it was really hard for her to balance that. There was quite a few times that Jimmy and I would be there for a BP practice that we talked with her about that day, and she would miss it because she was at another band. And it was not working. And it was with both Jimmy and Jez splitting off, none of it was ever like a personal thing. Like, I remained friends with Jez and still talked with her after that. Jimmy and I are still great friends too. Jimmy actually came to our last BP show. But it wasn't working anymore. Jez clearly had some other interests musically. Jimmy definitely did. So, we got Ian, and then I found Phoenix eventually. I'd been friends with Phoenix for a while, but never knew he played guitar. It turned out he used to just sit in his room and casually play Animals as Leaders all the time. So that asshole never told me he played guitar, even though I was in a band desperately looking for a guitarist. And I finally,
Gatekeeper.
Yeah, seriously. Oh my God, he was gatekeeping himself. So I finally convinced him to join BP, and so he joined. Was it late August, early September of 2021?
Yeah, it was something like that.
It was around then. It was Grisly Spectacle was almost finished. So like, he is on the album, but hardly. He came in and he did some solos, but like everything but the solos was done. So like, I had solos that I had recorded for it because I was doing the rhythm guitars for Psyche and Grisly. But obviously, like, I'm not a guitar player, frankly, so like the solos just sounded like ass. So the second we got Phoenix, like, even though the album was pretty much done, we were just like, dude, we need to get you on some solos. So he's on he did the solos on Mourning Myself. He did Surrounded by Sorrow and Lord of the Meek. He did one of the solos on Surrounded. And then so he's listed on that album. And then Connor and Andrew. Well, Andrew, you want to talk about how you ended up here?
Yeah, this is a really interesting story, and it goes back all the way to 2019. And Steven, you're actually part of this story, because you used to have a meme page back in the day called Scream Bloody Memes, and I followed you way back in the day. I followed that page, and I think you either DM'd me Beneath Purgatory's first album because I was asking for black metal recommendations, or you had posted about it. I can't remember which one, but you had put BP out in the universe somewhere, and I found them. And so I like years later, this was 2019 still, I think. So years or a couple months later, in like what, September of 2019,
Around there.
Logan and I both go to Logan, Ian and I all go to a municipal waste show. And we're all I'm wearing a black metal t-shirt. And Logan and I started a conversation, and I was like, wait a second, aren't you the guy from Beneath Purgatory? And yeah, we exchanged information, we hit it off, we became fast friends, and then like a week later, Logan and I both go to Iron Maiden in Hartford, and we just both randomly see each other right next to each other again. We're like, oh shit, what's up, dude? So yeah, we just always stayed in contact. And before Phoenix was recruited to play guitar, I was being low-key recruited to play guitar. But dude, it worked out so much better having Phoenix on guitar, because I'm just not a good guitar player. So having Phoenix, as when I was a fan of the band, when you guys got Phoenix, I thought that was like the craziest shit. I was like, oh, that's awesome. And so last summer, probably about a year ago now, they put something out on their Instagram that they were looking for a vocalist to just fill in for one show. And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. Fuck yeah. And then they had 2 shows that I was practicing with them for, but they were going to do without me. And we were doing a practice the night before those shows. And they were like, screw it. Do you want to just do vocals on all these shows with us? And I was like, hell yeah. And I've been here ever since.
I will say the funniest part though about the municipal waste show is not the fact that you recognized me, but it's the realization that you two had.
Yeah, the real like that Ian and I had been at at an Anthrax and Killswitch Engage show.
Yep.
And Ian tore his ACL, right?
Yep.
In the pit. And I was part of a group of guys that carried Ian out of the pit.
Or at least like picked me up off the ground, and yeah,
we got you out of there, like escorted
found
you
my
out
glasses because those got knocked right off my face. Yeah, that was wild.
And it was crazy that we found out like all those years later that was you who we carried out.
It's crazy.
Insane. And then as far as Connor too, he used to date my girlfriend's roommate. So I had known him. That's a weird connection, but I had known him, and you know, I knew he was like a metal guy, but I didn't really know he played guitar. He hit me up one day and was like, hey, do you want to be in a band? And I was like, well, I'm already in one, but we are looking for a second guitarist if you're interested. It took a little convincing, but then we tried him out, and we sent him, you know, a couple tracks to learn. I think the first one he learned was Cruel Bargain. It hadn't even been out yet. And you know, at first he was like, you know, all this tremolo picking isn't really my thing. And then he's like, I'll try it, but I'm not sure. And then like 2 days later, he texts me and goes, dude, I can't stop listening to that fucking song. I want in. So he, you know, we did a couple practices. It was just me, Phoenix, and him for a little bit, because I think the times that we were doing, Andy and Ian were both working, but we were just kind of trying him out, and he was just like a perfect fit. The kid learned songs so fast, and his style of playing is really strong. It's similar to Phoenix, but it's also different enough that they both have their own sound, but they can sound cohesive. So he's been just kind of filling in rhythm for us. And, you know, at some point, if we do another record, who knows when that'll be, because I don't think we have any plans to do one anytime soon. But, you know, whenever that were to happen, we'll have him and Andrew on it. So, you know, it won't be just a 3-piece anymore. It'll be the full 5.
That's awesome.
So that was a
Something like
long
that.
ass answer to how
That
did
was-
the lineup happen.
Yeah, no, that's cool though. That's awesome. I'm sure not a lot of people knew percent of that information, so that's really cool. Where does the name Beneath Purgatory come from?
I don't even know. Jess and I were in the damn basement when we recorded the first 2. I think the first 2 songs we recorded was Frozen Gate and Leper's Dream back on the Frozen Gate EP. And then we were like, hey, if we're gonna make this a band, we need to figure out a name. So I opened up Metal Archives, and I just looked up, like we found a bunch of combinations of words, And we were just like, try this out, try that out, try that out. And if anything came up, we'd be like, nope, got to try another one. And I think Jez either brought up the word Beneath or brought up the word Purgatory, and then I added the other one. So like it was like something like that happened. We just stumbled upon it. I looked it up and no results came up, and I was like, claimed, done. I don't care. So, like we didn't actually think anything of the name. We were just like, it's open, okay, cool.
That's awesome. Shit. All right. So you have 4 EPs that are unreleased right now. They were released, but now they're unreleased. Do you want to tell me a little bit about those? Do you want to say how come you like took them off?
Yeah, so those were, like I was saying, like we were recording those with my iPhone 5 microphone, and we weren't really putting a lot of effort into the songs. I mean, a couple of the songs we like kind of wrote out, but most of them Jez would play a couple riffs and I would be like, this is a cool drum beat that would go with that. And then we would just kind of say, fuck it and play. We didn't really plan anything out. And there's like, literally on the Slaves to the System EP, I think it's God of Terror. I dropped my stick mid song and the drums cut out for like 30 seconds and we kept it and we posted it. Like there was so many fuck ups. It was pretty bad.
Someone shit their pants on one of the songs.
Oh God,
You got to tell that story, dude.
Dude, yeah. For reference though, these EPs like were so just like we threw them together. The first 2 had no bass player on it. Jimmy was in the band after Frozen Gate, but he did not play on Ego Collapse. He couldn't make the timing out, and then Jez and I were just like, fuck it, we're gonna release this. So the first 2 didn't have a bass player. When we did Slaves to the System, we finally had Jimmy playing, and he started with some writing with us a little bit. But like Jimmy and Jez both had some friends that they wanted to come down and just be on a couple songs. And so Jacob Strock, who produced our first album, he's on a couple of the songs on vocals. And then there was this guy named Zane J, and I will never forget him. Because we did an open mic one time and Zane J jumped up on stage, grabbed the mic, screamed a few times, and started punching the floor, and he broke his hand. Swear to God, he was in a cast for 3 weeks after that because he was punching the stage. So this guy was like fucking insane. And he came downstairs while we were recording Slaves to the System, and he was just like, I want to be on these songs. And Jez was like, yeah, go ahead. And it's like, oh God, okay. And we're doing Walking Pneumonia. We did Visions of Sodom, and he was on that song a little bit, and then we did Walking Pneumonia, and he was like, I'm gonna growl through this whole thing. And after the song, it started smelling kind of funky. I was like, what the fuck? And he goes, yeah, guys, I kind of shit myself a little bit doing that. I need to go. And he literally pooped himself while doing Walking Pneumonia. So when you like, if there's a couple CD copies out there, Slaves to the System. If you have a CD copy, you will hear somebody shit themselves on CD. It's so fucking funny. And that song actually became one of the live staples of those EPs. So funnily enough, we played that one live a lot, and we're hoping to bring it back sometime. But it like the EPs, like that was just kind of a representation of the fact that we didn't really take them that seriously. And we did Frozen Massacre after the first album came out because we were like, oh, we play a show called Frozen Massacre, let's do an EP called that. Which I do think that one wasn't bad, but like they got us our start. Ego Collapse got us signed to Upside and all that stuff. But after we've had a few albums out, we were just like, you know what, this was who we were then. And we're not trying to completely get rid of it all, but we also think we thought it kind of diluted what we had out, and they were demos. We wanted to put the focus on the albums. So maybe at some point we might put them back up somewhere again. Maybe we'll put them up on YouTube as like an archived piece or something like that. But for now, they're we've still got a couple CD copies of them left, so get them while they last.
You have a couple of copies.
I don't know if we have I think we just sold our last Ego Collapse, but we have a few Slaves to the System and a few Live at the Grind still.
All right. Well, I already talked to you about Live at the Grind and Martyr when I go and see you. Add Slaves if you have it. And anybody watching this in the future who has any old shits and you're looking to get rid of them, hit me up, at me, whatever. I'll buy them off you for real. Seriously, got to have that rare shit. Yeah. So yeah, maybe sometime in the future you'll like put out the 4 EPs on like a compilation kind of thing.
I've been thinking of that. Yeah, doing some sort
That'd
of
be cool,
compilation.
Because you blessed me with the links to be able to listen to those. Because all BP songs ranking coming in the future. For the guys that are watching this in the future, coming soon. And I got to rank all the songs, and there's some good songs on there. Some deep cuts, as you would say. I got sun to my eye. I apologize.
The key word there is some, though. But
There's some really good ones, though.
look, when we played them live, they did amazing. I mean, Statistical Agony always went hard as shit.
Yeah.
But like, they didn't sound good on the EPs. You had to see them live.
So that's fair. Which of the 4 is your favorite?
Of the EPs,
Yeah.
that's hard. It's not Slaves to the System. That thing sucks ass. I hate Slaves to the
Yeah, I
System.
wouldn't say Slaves either.
No, I do not like Slaves to the System. It's only funny because of Walking Pneumonia. I don't like
the cover
listening
artwork
to.
was like coincidentally really cool.
Oh, the cover artwork's fantastic. I would go as far as to
yeah.
say the artwork and title might be our best ever for that.
That's probably literally probably the best artwork and title for.
That's the best part of it, though. You listen to the music and you're like, God, you're in the right place for shitty music.
Not bad though.
So I don't know. I love all the Frozen Gate songs, but the EP itself, they didn't sound good. We got they sounded a lot better when we played them live. Frozen Massacre is the best sounding one in terms of like production, if you will. So I guess probably that. I think the songs on there are the best written. But I also like Ego Collapse will always hold a special place in my heart. I guess I'll say Frozen Massacre. I guess I'll say that.
Do you guys have a favorite EP?
Probably Frozen Massacre from back in the day. I remember listening to that one quite a few times. I liked Life at the Grind too. But like, I don't know. I really like black metal. That sounds like it was recorded through a toilet bowl. So I do really like those early EPs. And I do remember when Logan took them off because I was like, hey man, I was going to listen to Ego Collapse. Where the hell is it?
I'll send you them if you don't have them. I will.
No, I think
if anyone wants them, let me know.
They're on the tubes, right? Still.
No, I've actually been meaning to re-upload them because the versions we put up were a glitched version because like Jez's computer crashed while we were uploading them. So when you listen to them, they were so compressed that they sounded like they were 2-bit. So
Amazing.
so I had to take those down. I've been meaning to, re-upload them to YouTube here at some point in the near future, maybe sometime this month. They'll be up somewhere. I don't want to it'll be part of some BP archives kind of thing.
There's definitely gonna be some clips of it up when I upload that video. So.
Oh yeah. Wait, Ian, did you Ian, you listen to the EPs a lot, right? Oh, you.
No, not a lot. I think I listened to them. I don't know. I think I gave each one like a courtesy playthrough.
I forgot about that.
But like, because when I was first starting the band, like I wanted to give, or first joining the band, I wanted to give myself a little bit of context with like what the music was, and obviously you have to listen to the songs to hear them, or of course you got to listen to them to hear them. You got to listen to the songs to learn them so you can play them. So I listened to those, like the ones that I had to, more than the other ones. And yeah, nothing really sticks out to me from the old days except for things like Pneumonia and Statistical Agony and Ecstatic Journey was really fun to play. Yeah, so there were a couple of bangers in that set list that I've been kind of poking at Logan to bring back, but yeah, no, I can't really say I have a favorite from the early stuff.
That's fair. That's
I
fair.
do want to bring those back though. I really do. At some point we will.
That would be really cool. Do you want to explain the Cold Soul series?
Yeah. Dude, this band is held together with fucking scotch tape. Okay, so the Cold Soul series, we made 3 songs, and well, Decadent was actually the first song on the new album, or on the first album that we wrote. That was the first song. And that was also the first song that we as a group sat down and were like, we're gonna write out riffs, we're gonna write out structure, we're gonna create a demo. We had never done that before. So that was like the first time we ever did that. And when we wrote it, like, we did a lot of writing in studio as well with Jacob Strock. He actually, I don't know if he was like officially credited on all the songs, but he might as well be, because he was like writing along with us pretty much in a lot of structure. But like as we were writing it, we were like, you know, this song is like really slow and doomy. And the big thing with black metal is you really want to lean into atmosphere. And like that album itself already had a weird atmosphere with that zipper ass guitar sound. So like we started adding more atmospheric elements, and we were like, why don't we just kind of make this into some super long thing and have a couple songs be parts of it or whatever. I was sick when Jimmy and Jez started making Cold Soul 2, To Keep You Is No Benefit. So I think that's the only song in BP that I don't have a writing credit for, funnily enough. Because I mean, all the old stuff we just like wrote together, and then all the new stuff, you know, I kind of did a lot of the earlier stuff just kind of out of like Ian joined the band late from Psyche, and then and then I just kind of kept in part of that. So I don't know too much about what the hell was going on with To Keep You Is No Benefit. It's a weird song. It's kind of noisy. I have a lot of videos on my Snapchat that I of like we blew up rubber gloves, and we called the studio Glove World because we'd blow up rubber gloves and it looked like Glove World from SpongeBob, and then we would take a microphone up to the glove and rub it against it, and that's how we made a lot of the ambience for that song. It was a fucking joke. You know, Cold Soul 3, Frozen Forever, that's probably my favorite song from that first album. But that I originally just kind of wrote for myself, and then we decided that we were going to make it part of the band, and we figured, you know what, we'll attach that to Cold Soul. There's not really a concept tied to it, at least there wasn't at the time. I tried developing an actual one for when we get Cold Soul 4, which is Rain. That was on Shredded Psyche. And we're still trying to look through it because we've had some talks about bringing Cold Soul back at some point. Just because it'd be kind of cool. But I mean, ultimately, I don't know. It's something about some ice demon who, you know, kills people and shit. I don't fucking know. So yeah, that's that. I mean, out of all those songs though, Rain has definitely done the best. We've never played a song more live than Rain. Rain is our most played live song. And I think it's by far the best song on Psyche. I think it's, quite frankly, the only non-bloated song on Psyche. But you know, yeah, it's fun. I want to bring Frozen Forever back at some point. That was like back in the OG days. That was like our Lord of the Meek. So it'll be fun to bring that back. But yeah, I don't really know much about Cold Soul, to be honest. And I was the one who did most of the concept for it. So whatever.
That's fair. That's a cool answer though. I was just curious because I did see that and I was like, I wonder what this is all about. Cold Soul 1, 2, 3, and 4. So, you know,
I don't know. It was
figure that
winter
out.
when we wrote it, so it was cold.
It was cold, wasn't it? Do you want to explain some of these acronyms that I see in a lot of the songs?
Jesus.
Someone told Ian he could join BP is my favorite one.
Hold on a second.
And then there's someone told Jimmy he could make a rap album.
So we had a thing
Okay.
where we would like
Okay,
on the
Someone
let's
told
first
do it.
Logan he
album.
could play guitar.
Yup.
3 of them.
And then so on the first album, right? Because there's one on the first album that someone told Connor that he looked like Varg. Because Jez at the time that was pre-transition and straight up looked like Varg Vikernes. Straight up. So somebody like went up to Connor at the time and was like, dude, you look so much like fucking Varg. And so I was just like, hey, why don't we make like a 30-second song? Because it comes right after the Cold Soul thing, which is like 20 something minutes and like super atmospheric and prodding and stuff. So I was like, why don't we make like a song that's less than a minute and we're just gonna chant the same fucking thing over and over. So someone told Connor that he looks like Varg, and during the little part where Jez's voice is happening, she's screaming, burn a church. So there's that. And then when we did Psyche, we were like, you know what? We still didn't do one for me or for Jimmy, and now Ian's joining the band, so we need to do one for Ian. So Jimmy was making a rap album at the time, so we did Someone Told Jimmy He Could Make a Rap Album, and that was the first BP song that Ian ever worked on. And then Jimmy came up with Someone Told Ian He Could Join BP, and he wrote that one. And then because I was doing guitar on the album, we came up with Someone Told Logan He Could Play the guitar. We hate all of them.
There was a running joke throughout the entire Shredded Psyche writing process and recording process that Logan was like, oh yeah, I'm such a bad guitar player, I can't play guitar, oh my god, I'm so bad at guitar. And then he just like bust out these incredible performances and everything else. We were just like, oh yeah, I can't play guitar, okay. So that's that's where that one came from.
For everybody watching
Logan
this,
can play the guitar.
Yeah, for everyone watching this, watch Logan and Ian perform Frozen Massacre. Was 21 was the Zoom performance of Frozen Massacre?
Yeah.
And you can
also
see
got
Logan
taken down.
playing guitar in that, and he's fucking killing it.
I don't think I could find that one. There's one of
I-
the Frozen Massacre 2021s that I can't find. It's either Beneath Purgatory or Collective Brutality. I'm gonna ask you a question real quick, and you have to get this right. Don't even think about talking during the breakdown during
Dementia. Do
Got
not
it.
even talk during the breakdown in Dementia. Oh my god, that was one of the first memes I made for this stupid ass band.
That was leading into my next question. I love the Beneath Purgatory memes. Like, when did you decide that you wanted to start doing? Because I know it's you. I know it's
It
Logan.
is, yeah. No, so
Every single meme.
So I don't know. I was really, when we were promoting Psyche, I was on my crazy like TikTok grind. I'd had TikTok for a while. I got it like as ironic, like as a joke. And then like TikTok started actually getting funny during like COVID. And not to brag, I did go viral once. It doesn't have my face on it, so I didn't go viral, but still, and so like, I don't know, at the time, like my For You page was just flooded with people recording incredibly low quality videos through Androids, and I just thought it was fucking funny. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna promote Psyche by recording an Android quality video and being like, you guys should check out our new CD, you're gonna love it. And then I put it on in the video, but all it sounds like is because you can't fucking hear it through the Android. And I was like, you know what? Like, this is funny as shit. I'm just gonna do a bunch of these. And so we made a bunch of BP memes. And Phoenix has been making some lately that have been really funny. Andrew brought up the idea of taking the Martyr approach.
That's a good one.
Yeah, so we've like, because like, you got to give people a reason to want to care about your band. And like, I just think they're funny as shit. Ultimately this band is always something that we do for fun and we need to enjoy. And the memes are just too fun. We kind of had a running thing for a while that anytime we'd post anything on the Instagram, the second slide had to be some sort of meme. And then we just started mass posting memes. So yeah, they're they're a lot of fun. I think my favorite one is when we had that weekend of like 3 shows, the first shows that Andrew did. I had saw this meme of Squidward when he found the canned bread, except somebody swapped it out for Newport cigarettes, and so I swapped out the Newport cigarettes with all of our flyers for the upcoming shows, and I loved those. Or when we did we released a snippet of Kindled Fury, like the breakdown for it, and I put on the second slide, it was like new BP hit like, and it was SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs completely fried. You know, just shit like that. It's
I
just so
definitely
much
remember
fun.
that one.
Yeah,
Dude,
and,
my
and,
favorite is the one with the sticks that
oh,
their Chinese stick game, and then it syncs up perfectly to the song in the video.
Which one is
Mosh
that?
Pit. It was
Oh, you're talking about
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
jump rope,
yeah,
jump rope one, right?
exactly,
Yeah, they all start jumping in. Yeah, that one is amazing too. It does sync perfectly in. That one
Yeah,
was funny as hell.
I also the one where I just took a clip of from Total Drama Island when the contestants had to eat beef testicles. I just sped that up and put Mutiny on top of it and said certified BP moment. They did eat beef testicles. They did. It was they put that on a kids show. It was fucking great.
I watched the first season of Total Drama and nothing else after that.
Oh, season 3 is great. You got to do season 3.
Yeah, season 3 is the one where they're on the acting, the movie set, right?
No, I think that was 2.
Two.
That's when they were in the
That's my
airplane.
favorite one. Two. Two's the
Yeah,
best one.
I didn't watch anything after that.
I'm sorry, that fucking show is like one of my favorites from like my childhood era. Oh,
Codename Kids Next Door.
Shout out, all right, let's just shout out some childhood cartoons. SpongeBob.
but yeah, SpongeBob. Give me on that
Fairly
Jimmy
Odd
Neutron
Parents.
shit.
That's funny.
Yo, Jimmy Neutron was gas.
Jimmy Neutron was the Hugh Neutron taking the martyr approach.
I think Jimmy Neutron did take the martyr approach.
I forgot that was the last fucking meme we did. Hey Pops, this thing work?
Yeah, I'm a meme dude, so I really appreciate all the memes. I think it's hysterical. It takes time to come up with something like that, you know.
I do most of them
I
when I'm in the bathroom, quite frankly.
But the most appropriate time to do so.
I've
made my fair share of. Go ahead.
No, when we were about to play the Firehouse show in May, I was just like, I was peeing real quick and I saw some TikTok come up and I was like, I started screaming. Everyone's just out like chilling in my kitchen. I start screaming, guys, I got it. And like I stay in the bathroom and I just put together this meme. And it was the one of that speaker that caught fire. And I put the Kindled Fury breakdown to it. And I was like, yeah, this is great.
It's organic.
That one was probably one of my favorites.
It's organic as hell.
that
That
one.
was like a real incident. Ooh, how'd that speaker set on fire?
I have no idea. It was somebody, it was a video. Somebody was playing there's a producer called Miles who produces really bad music.
Oh, I know who that is.
Yeah, because most of the shit I find on TikTok is just bad producers because I went to school with too many of them in high school. And it was like a Miles song. Somebody played it but turned the subs up to like 1 million and the speaker fucking caught fire.
I thought that meme was from a show when someone's speaker caught on fire, like started smoking. They threw it outside.
Oh
didn't hear about
no, I know that was just something I ripped offline.
Oh,
That would have been
Real.
funnier though. That would have been good.
shout out, Miles. Oh man, but yeah. Beneath Purgatory sound changed over time. Started out really black metal, like really black metal. You can hear it in those EPs and the first studio, and I think Shredded is when the sound kind of changed away from straight black metal. Do you think it was like probably like listening to different music or
The
Like
biggest change was Jez. When we didn't have Jez writing for us anymore.
Jez wasn't a
That-
part of the writing for Shredded?
not for Psyche.
Know that.
Nope. So Jez wrote on the first album, obviously. Jez did most of our riffs for pretty much anything pre-Psyche. Jimmy has a couple writing credits on Psyche, and actually I think the songs that have Jimmy on them are some of the ones that sound the most like old school BP. You know, him and I did Dementia. We did Burning Sun together. You know, so Jimmy helped with those two, and then he did a Someone Told or whatever. Like there are some songs on Psyche that I think still sound like the first album. You know, Pit of Despair is literally a carbon copy of Void of Hopelessness.
Even down to the name of the thing.
Down to the fucking name, I know. Yeah, that not my proudest moment. You know, Pit of Despair, Dementia could have fit on the first album. Unable to Escape could have fit on the first album. Like, there's definitely songs that could have fit, but I think you know, Jimmy and I had been talking a lot before we even started writing some songs for Psyche, that we wanted to kind of go a little bit thrashier because we thought that it would do better live. So, you know, even when Jez was still in the band, we kind of had the idea that we were going to get a little bit thrashier, a little bit heavier. Jez wanted to write some slam stuff, and so I have a couple demos that we put together when we wanted to write some slam stuff. We didn't put those songs on the album because we figured, you know, out of fairness, if Jez isn't going to be on the album, we're not going to, you know, use her stuff. Yeah, the sound started to shift, and then like Psyche didn't do too well. You know, it when it came out, it kind of came and went. So with Grisly, we were like, we're gonna go completely back to what we did. There's a lot of songs on there that are short, sweet, and just ripping black metal. You know, Circuitry and Wires, the title track, Grisly Spectacle, that was a big contribution from Ian. You know, we wanted to, Lord of the Meek was trying to get back to that like old school prodding doomy black metal. I was listening to a lot of Sabbath when I wrote that.
That one actually too, because Lord of the Meek was, I had a soft spot for the song Quintessence from Dark Throne for quite a while, and I really loved that. Like, I get, the only word I can come up with it is like driving. You know, it's like everything just kind of keeps moving along, like the guitars are doing their own thing, the whatever, but the drums are just got that same beat the entire time through. It holds everything together. It's just kind of marching the song along. And I was like, damn, I really want to do something like that. So we kind of combined those two like ideas, and we ended up with Lord of the Meek, which is probably one of my all-time favorite BP songs. It's so much fun to play too.
Live, there's no experience like playing that song.
That May show, Lord of the Meek, went insane.
It's really fun on that song to just put out the microphone and have a bunch of people like fighting each other to grab at my arm and scream.
Had the whole room screaming, "Turn off the Meek!"
It's a really good time. I like the energy on that one. And when that album came out, that was because I immediately heard the Quintessence parallels, and that's one of my favorite black metal songs. So I was like, I immediately heard it. I immediately loved that song. It was immediately one of my favorites on that album. Mm-hmm. I remember when Grisly came out so vividly. I remember listening to it all the way through and just being so proud of those guys. Just like I was like, so it was such a huge step. Like just from a listener's standpoint at that time, it was just such a huge step from Psyche to Grisly. But it was just I was really proud of them as musicians, as like friends of them. It was just a really cool moment.
The biggest difference between Psyche and Grisly, I mean, there's obviously like the production. There's a big stylistic difference because Psyche is definitely thrashier, and with Grisly, we tried to go back to that black metal. And I honestly think that Grisly sounds more like the first album than it does Psyche. But like, you know, the other big thing about that too is like I finally learned to cut things out. You know, Psyche, all the songs are too long. You know, every song just has a riff that extends more than needed, or has a repeat that just doesn't need to be there. or has an unnecessary solo or anything like that. And when I got to Grisly, you know, we wrote the songs out, and like Surrounded by Sorrow was originally like 7.5 minutes, you know, and Mourning Myself was originally like 5 minutes. Like these songs were long, and I was just like, I'm losing interest listening to it. And so cut them way down. Circuitry and Wires was like 4.5 minutes. That song is under 3 now. And so that album just like stabs you and then gets away, you know. And so that was the big thing. And then come Martyr, we wanted to keep the Grisly sound, but we wanted to, I mean, the biggest focus for Martyr was production. That was the biggest focus in our difference, you know, between the approaches. But also, I mean, Phoenix had wanted to go a little heavier. He comes from the deathcore world. And we also were surrounded by a lot of hardcore bands when we were writing that album. And, you know, just Metal Trenches called us a blackened hardcore band. I don't know if I agree with that, but it's true. Like, it was an influence for us. We did like want to go a little bit more hardcore. We didn't want to sound hardcore because quite frankly, none of us are really hardcore fans like at all. And like truthfully, I don't know if it's really any of our things, but like, it was what we were surrounded by. And so that's where that kind of change came a little bit from. You know, I don't know if I'd say we are a hardcore band though. But also just like the progginess got kicked up because we knew that we wanted to make a concept record, which the concepts, we could probably get into that in a minute, because it's honestly funny as hell.
That was one of my questions. That was one of my
So
questions.
fucking
Is Martyr a
stupid.
concept album?
It is a concept
It's-
album. Should we dive into it?
Whenever you're ready. I mean,
We should dive into it.
Oh my God! Why the hell
It's a
not?
great story. It's a
Okay.
I was
Okay.
curious.
It's
Let
really
me
not.
set the
I
scene.
wouldn't say it's a great story, but it definitely fits in the BP. Like, it definitely fits
character.
the BP vibe of just doing things. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I'll
in
set the
character
scene
for
here
us,
for you.
sure.
We're in the middle of writing Grisly. I know this goes all the way back to when Psyche was the new album. We're in the middle of writing Grisly, and I'm in
During
the
COVID.
shower.
During COVID.
During COVID, yes. And I'm in the shower, and at the time I was binge watching a show like crazy. And I had a massive epiphany. Anybody out there who's seen the show Survivor, it's like possibly my all-time favorite show. For no good reason. I just think it's fun. I just think it's funny. The early stuff, the people hated each other and they were really bad people, so it was hilarious to watch. And I was watching at the time, I was watching season 18, Token Cheens, and it had this guy on that season called, his name is Ben, but he forces everyone to call him Coach because he's a college soccer coach. And he is the most dramatic person that you'll ever see on your screens ever. And on the show, he's like talking about these stories about how like a group of Indians like captured him and sodomized him and all this stuff when he was like whitewater rafting or some shit like that. I don't know. That like he just like told the wildest shit. And there's an episode, it's one of the funniest episodes of TV like ever, I think, honestly, where he gets sent into Exile Island, which is like some stupid twist that they have. And when he's there, he was like, I'm gonna go there and I'm not gonna have any food or any water or anything, and I'm gonna go have a religious experience. And he goes to this stupid island alone and he starves himself for religious experience. And I got out of the shower one day in COVID and I was like, Ian, I got a fantastic idea for a song. And we're going to make this close Grisly. It's going to be the last song. We're going to have like a 10-minute song that's going to end the album. And we got together and we watched the episode and then we put together what the song would look like. And the first pass of it was about 12.5 minutes. And it was written for Grisly. It was supposed to be a song on Grisly. And we just thought it didn't fit because we wanted it to be, you know, that was when we started cutting so much stuff out of the songs. So we tabled it. And then
It
I was
also
like,
wasn't completely done at that point either.
no, I mean, it was definitely, it wasn't the version that you hear now, but it was like, it had a beginning and a conclusion, and it flowed. And I think like that was a version that like if we were to put it on the album, it would have been that version, but it wasn't the version that that you hear now. And funnily enough, actually, Phoenix found the demo and he was like, why didn't we just do this version? I think it's like better. So but you know, then we were talking about concept records, and I was like, as a joke, I'm like, I'm gonna extend this song into like a 40-minute song, and we're gonna make someday, maybe we'll release this as like Edge of Sanity Crimson, like one song 40-minute, that's the album. I expanded it up to like 19 minutes and gave up. And then we were just like, you know what, let's make this next album a concept record. And instead of it being about when Coach goes to Exile Island, we'll just make it journey the entire episode of Survivor. And then that song, the Martyr Approach, that's the title track, that got stuck in the middle. We shortened it way down. It's, I think, what's it, like 9.5 minutes or something like that. And it that song in the album depicts the journey on Exile Island. But the whole, all of the songs themselves depict Coach's journey through the entire episode. So yes, it is a concept album about Survivor.
So was that?
Say it again.
What episode?
Season 18, episode 11, 12, something like that. The episode is called The Martyr Approach. So that's where we got the name from. It's literally called that.
Awesome. I'm gonna definitely check that out.
Yeah, waiting for the CBS cease and desist. No, so yeah,
they don't know who we are. Who are we kidding?
And they never will. But yeah, that's the concept, is because like BP is nothing if not wild. You know, again, this band is created with Scotch tape and Elmer's glue, and like Mutiny is written about Total Drama Island. Ian and I were eating Shady Glen and watching Total Drama Island.
Hell yeah, we were.
Damn right. That was so good. If you've never been to Connecticut, get some Shady Glen, dude. And we were just like, fuck it, we're gonna write a song about Total Drama Island. And funnily enough, Mutiny was written for Psyche. It was very different, but it was like that beginning riff and stuff, that was all part of something for Psyche. Exactly, the grind section. And then Ian and I together like went through and rewrote it and tried to really make it something a bit more interesting. And that's what the version of Mutiny. But we're not strangers to writing about dumb shit. You know, I mean, I know most of Grisly was written about like a really hard time in my life, but like also we can write about stupid stuff. Hence the Martyr Approach. Whole album.
Oh, the Martyr Approach is literally my favorite Beneath Purgatory album, but I know that if you ask your average BP fan, they'll tell you the Grisly Spectacle, my favorite album. Like, it's a great album, but I mean, did you let Martyr marinate long enough?
Yeah, I
Martyr's
think
my favorite
it needs a
album.
little time.
Songwriting, I think so. I think they couldn't take it in all at once.
Look, I will say that, I mean, I do think Grisly and Martyr are very similar. I mean, there's a couple songs on Grisly that if they would have been on Martyr, no one would tell. I mean, Mourning Myself is like a quintessential BP song that if that was on Martyr, it would have fit right in.
Wasted could fit on Martyr.
Oh yeah. Surrounded by Sorrow.
Yeah, easily. Lord of the Meek, even.
To an extent. To an extent.
So Logan has this, I'll call it this really annoying quirk of before the album is even out. So we will have gone through a writing process. We're in through the post-production, right? We're doing the editing and the mixing and mastering and whatever. And he'll be like, damn, I really want to start writing again. So before that current album is even out, he'll start writing stuff for whatever the next album is going to be, right? So that happened with Psyche. We were already writing some Grisly stuff, and then with Grisly, like we had some stuff left over. We had some stuff already written, but we were already writing some stuff for Martyr before we released Grisly. And then, you know, I I hate to say it now, but there might be a few demos for LP number 5 that have already been written, and you know, Martyr's been out for, I don't know, 2 months, less than that.
By 2 months, yeah.
Yeah.
I will say though, don't hold your breath for an LP5 release anytime soon. We are gonna take time. Martyr needs to sit, and you know, we spent a lot of time on production. Like, the songs came together for Martyr fairly quickly. Like, they were all written by May of 2022. And we really did the bulk of the writing between February and May. And so like they were all written by then, but like we spent a lot of time really nitpicking production because the production on the last 3 albums awful. So this time though, we have an idea of what to do with production. We're going to spend focus on nitpicking the songwriting and really making sure we can get like the best songs. So it's going to be a long process, and I don't expect an album anytime before, oh my God, it'll be a miracle if it's out 2025. I would expect, you know, a good 3 years or so. We're going to really spend time with this one. But it's funny that Ian mentioned all the countless writing, because there was about 20 to 25 songs written for Psyche. I have all of them sitting somewhere on my computer. Phoenix and I went back and listened to a bunch of them, and we were like, holy shit, this is some hot garbage. And normally the producer tag is followed with, but I can't stop listening, but we could stop very easily. Yeah, they were bad. They didn't make the album for a reason. And there was you know, 3 or 4 songs that were written for Grisly that didn't make it. On Martyr, we actually wrote and recorded 10 songs, and we cut the 10th one sometime in November because we just kind of didn't think it did enough. It had the exact same BPM as Martyr, like the title track, and it was supposed to follow that song. So at that point, it kind of felt like a needless extension. So we cut that. And there was quite a few others that were written for Martyr that didn't really get anywhere. So we've got a lot of back catalog stuff that we're going to really comb through and see if there's anything that can work. But we're going to take our time with this next one. We're not going to be shitting out albums like it's for fun.
Right. That's good though. You know, the songwriting, I think, already for Martyr is very, very like top notch. So you're gonna spend more time on that. I can only imagine what you're gonna put out next. So
yeah, well, and that was just like the
excited.
little bit of time that we added to writing for Martyr really made that big of a difference, because, you know, I Ian and I have been very on record as to say that Psyche is not a good album. And so that's because it was not written with a lot of care, and you could tell the care was starting to develop with Grisly and Martyr, and we're really going to put that TLC into it.
But yeah, I think more people will start liking Martyr if you implement more songs into the live set. Maybe I know you played 2 songs from Martyr in your in the May performance.
Yeah, those were the 2 singles that were out.
And Kindled. Yeah, Kindled actually dropped that same day.
Yep,
I think it was awesome.
It's like we planned it that way.
Yeah, we definitely did. We definitely did.
That's awesome. What's your favorite song to play live? The hardest song to play live, and a song you wish you got to play live?
Oh,
Man.
That.
Well, my favorite to play live is probably Lord of the Meek. Mutiny is up there too, because that one's just, it's all over the place, but like it's fun. Hardest song for me, honestly, the hardest one for me is probably Unable to Escape. I don't know, I just, for some reason, that riff, I make mistakes every single time I play like the main riff in that song, and it fucking bugs me.
Of all the songs,
I know, it's so stupid. Like, it's not
the
that
key
hard
is
of
not a
song.
problem. It's fucking
No, it's
Kindle.
weird. The key is fine. The key is great. I can go from pick to slap back to pick in you know, without missing a single beat, but I can't fucking play Unable to Escape. I don't know. I don't even pretend to understand it. It's weird.
That was the last thing I expected.
I know. But then probably the one I want to play more of the older stuff, like the stuff that I played from my Frozen Massacre set list. My first show was obviously, since none of these other albums have been written yet, it was all like first album and EP. So things like Walking Pneumonia and Statistical Agony and, you know, all of those like former set list staples. Like I really just want to get back in that, because I do like that era of the band. I do like that style of music, and I want to get back to it, you know. I want to see it come back.
Logan, Andy?
And you want to hit it?
So favorite song, probably I love playing Cruel Bargain. That's really fun. That's fast. It's fun when Marc comes on the mic and does his part.
Shout out Marc.
Hardest
Shout out
song.
Marc.
Shout out Marc, yeah. Hardest song, maybe fucking Kindled Fury is up there. Some of the new shit that like Desperate Ritual, we're trying to bring that out live at some point, and that's a very wordy, fast song. That's pretty challenging. The key's actually not that bad. Betrayed and Abandoned are up there for sure. So a lot of the new stuff, just because it's different from all the other stuff, where it's more wordy. It's got a lot more lyrics and delivered at a really fast pace in some parts. So it's as a vocalist, that's been challenging because I'm kind of learning as I go with this vocal thing. So, and then song I wish we could play live. Well, there is a cover that we started working on that we were going to try to bust out, and I hope we can pull that out at some time. I'm not going to spoil as to what it is, but and then FTD from Psyche. I really wish we could. I know that there's a bunch of people who want us to play it too, like Jack from Necroland. Shout out Jack.
Shout out Jack.
Shout out Jack.
So I think it would just be, I think it's like a thrash song. You know, it would be really fun to just throw down. You know, I don't know. I would think we would definitely shorten it for sure if we played it live, because there's no reason that song needs to be like 5 minutes long.
No, we actually did play it once. That was at the Raven show. We actually opened the set with it, and we did shorten the hell out of it. But also no one was at that show because we went on at like 2:30 in the morning. But we got to play it once, and it was kind of cool. I maybe we'll bring it back. I think my favorite one to play live, if you know, probably Rain, in all honesty. I think that song is so much fun. It flows really well. And it gets the crowd really hyped when it starts. I don't know if we'll ever have a better set opener than that song. We're gonna try some other ones here coming up. You know, we've literally played Rain more than any other song live, so we might let that one take a little break. The hardest one to play live, Kindled Fury, or Mourning Myself. Mourning Myself is tricky because the drums are really technical. I mean, you should have seen Ian and I when we were recording that. Ian, how many times did it take me to play that song? Every song I did in one take, and then Mourning Myself.
It was, you wanted to hit it first because you wanted to try to do it like early in the process so you weren't like worn out, because we did it all in one like session. And we had gone through it probably 2 or 3 times, and then you were like, you know what, fuck this, I need to take a break from it, let's knock some other stuff out, we're taking too long with this. So we came back to it and again did it like probably another 2 or 3 times. And it was all like stupid mistakes too. Like it was just stupid stuff, like dropping I think a stick broke actually one time.
Yep.
On one of the takes, so we just had to, all right, well, fuck it, there goes that one. And then just random stuff like that. But when we finally got it, is the take that you hear on the album, and at the very end of it, you can hear Logan, like, after that pause, he throws down his sticks and goes, "Fucking yes, let's go," because we finally got that take.
Yeah, I think I hear that. Yeah,
It was
album.
I have never played a song more in the studio than that song, and it like not even close. I mean, Betrayed took a lot of plays because Betrayed had that really like weird Tom stuff going on in the middle. But even then, I don't know if it was half the takes of Mourning Myself. Mourning Myself was definitely at least 10. It was bad. So that one's probably the hardest because it's just very energy inducing. There's a couple big drum fills. There's a lot of double kick. And then a song that I want to play live. I've been saying it since we dropped it. Kingdom of Fire, gotta happen.
Kingdom of Fire.
It's like probably my favorite song aside from the new album because the new album hasn't been out long enough. It's my favorite song we haven't played live yet. It's one of my favorite BP songs, period. And the fact that we have never played it live like bothers the hell out of me. And Jimmy and I had been talking about playing that song so much, and then we just never got the chance to. It's gotta happen. I don't know. I have such a soft spot for Kingdom of Fire. And I think that song would sound amazing live. That song honestly has a lot of Psyche parallels. That's why I don't think Psyche is way too different from the first album. It definitely sounds different, but I think a lot of it's production because that song's got some thrashy energy to it. So Kingdom of Fire will forever be, until we finally get the chance to play it live, I am not going to shut up about wanting to play that song.
Definitely my favorite off the first album.
Yeah, dude, Jimmy came up with that with quite a few of the riffs on that song, and it's so good. He came up with that beginning. Oh my god, yeah, Jimmy, that whole first album, Jimmy was such an amazing presence on that because he was a jazz player and he just made it sound so interesting. So yeah.
I love that. Yeah,
song. Do you guys have a favorite show that you've played?
Honestly, any show at the Firehouse.
Firehouse goes off.
Firehouse.
I feel like that's such an easy answer. Yeah, like every Firehouse show we've done, I'd put in our top 5 easy.
I really liked the Grange in New Hampshire. That was our first time ever out of Worcester, ever out of state. No, you guys played out of Worcester once before, right?
Barely. We were just across the town line.
Right. But
Shrewsbury.
yeah, that was our first show out of the state, and that was really cool. And that show went down. That was
awesome. Yeah,
we played with a lot of
and Succumb and Become threw that on, and both of them did fantastic job in making that show run super smoothly. Had hella heads pop out, and yeah, that was a great show. I think, I'm sure Ian will probably also throw Frozen Massacre 20 into there, and I will as well. So I'll pick a deep cut. I think Live at the Grind back in 2019 was a really fun show. We have a video of the whole set. It's on my computer. I want to post it.
Even if you don't post it, send it my way because the only live clip that is in existence now is Frozen Massacre and shout out Bughead. Bughead is recording of you guys at the Firehouse.
Big shout out to Bughead. Big shout out.
Absolutely.
We're in the process of getting another show done with him. But I think I'll say Live at the Grind. That was a lot of fun. It was the first time we played songs from the new album. At the time it was the new album. It was the debut. But we played Walking Pneumonia and Fear of Death, which was our usual set opener back then. And, we closed with The Static Journey and Statistical Agony. And then we did a Suicidal Tendencies cover, which we brought that back. Our first show we played after Jez died, we ended the show with a cover of Suicidal Tendencies, Subliminal. Because that was, our cover back then. So I'll throw my hat into that ring. At some point, that video will be up on YouTube here in the near future. So yeah.
I'm excited to see that.
And then definitely Frozen Massacre 22. Well, not 22 like the year 22, like 20 as well. will be a great show, just a phenomenal show.
So, favorite venue?
Firehouse.
Firehouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Easy.
the energy there is just unmatched every time.
Definitely.
Unreal.
Definitely. It's unhinged.
Unbelievable.
Do you guys have maybe a least favorite show that you've ever performed?
Quite a few.
Well, for me, it's the Raven. For starters, Logan and I both got COVID from that show.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hey, I wrote
second-
most of Martyr when I had COVID, so it wasn't that bad.
Well, yeah, so we got Martyr out of it, but yeah, we both got COVID from that show. I don't know how the hell Phoenix didn't get it, but he ended up getting it. Just built different, dude.
Built different. Guys,
Just
built
built
different.
Fucking what else? There was like raw sewage on the floor because like the bathrooms had backed up or something.
All three of us threw our shoes out from that night. All three of
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
Oh my
No,
God.
The
it was bad.
bathrooms
We went on at like
flooded.
2:30 in the morning. We were scheduled to go on at midnight. So first there were like 18 fucking bands or something that were supposed to play. Really short sets, really quick turnaround, supposedly. Because everything in the punk scene in Worcester runs on punk time, we were, 2.5 hours behind before we even started. So by the time we finally got to play, we were exhausted. Nobody else was fucking there. I mean, it was just, yeah, it was just a rough night.
We do have a recording of that. The sound was great there. So we have a recording of that entire show with like mixed drums. The only thing is the bass was not working that night, so you can hardly hear the bass. You only hear the slap of the strings. There was just no low end. So, aside from that though, I mean, the whole recording, we didn't sound horrible. We didn't sound good.
No, like I thought we sounded fine. It's just the rest of the circumstances around the show were just terrible.
That was also the big show for selling Dr. Perky. Like that was that was like I think the first time that we started advertising that we were going to sell Dr. Perky. And so, my girlfriend and I would go, there's no Hannafords in Worcester. So whenever she would drive back to her parents in Rhode Island, she would go to Hannafords on the way and buy like 6 cases of Dr. Perky. And so we had so much, and we walk in and the venue owner's like, get the fuck out. Don't bring that in. Nope, go. Like, you're not allowed in here if you're going to do that. And
Because
so
it's a bar. Like,
yeah, and I didn't know that because the people, fucking Bodega 508 told me, no, it's fine. It's not a bar. It's a venue. You can bring your Dr. Perky in. I didn't know it was a bar until we walked in. So I had like 6 to 8 cases of Dr. Perky, and they were just sitting in my room. Then I tested positive, and so all I had, because I was living with 2 roommates, and it was still college. I was a senior in college, so I had to stay in my tiny ass room, and I could only eat the Nutri-Grain bars that I had left in there and the Dr. Perky cans. So I probably drank 50 fucking Dr. Perkies while I had COVID because I couldn't. I had like no water. It took day 4 for one of my roommates to finally, get me a bunch of waters. So I couldn't drink. I literally drank Dr. Perky for like 3 or 4 days and like 2 water bottles. And just I have some picture. I would wake up and be like COVID breakfast, and it would be a protein bar, a Dr. Perky, and a pack of Gushers. Like it. So sorry, that was an aside.
Oh,
But fuck that show. Fuck that show.
Oh, that sounds miserable.
It was.
I think the one at Ralph's that we recently did, but that was a good show in the sense that like the bands we played with were really good and they were really dope, and I had fun hanging out with all of them. It was just not a lot of people showed up, so but I'll still always throw down 110% regardless if there's 5 people or if there's 50 people. I don't really care. I'm just happy to play. I just think that we made a lot of mistakes at that show, and there was some technical difficulties, and I don't know. It was one of the first times we'd ever performed where I performed with them where there was a stage, and I felt weird being on a stage. Honestly, I like the vibes like at the Firehouse where you're right there with the crowd. So yeah, that was kind of threw me off.
You're looking down at everyone.
Yeah, it's very, and then I tried to like jump off the stage and like go down and like get people started, and they just were like back at me, and I was like, no, fucking move, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm going back on the stage because I feel weird as hell. I just want, and it got to a certain point, we were maybe like 3 songs in, and I was like, I just want this to be over.
I know at one point Andrew looked back at me, looked so upset, and hands me the mic and says, introduce it. And I'm like, oh, because like and like I didn't blame him because I was feeling that fucking too. I was just like, this just blows, because my kick pedals came apart every song. Every song my kick pedals came apart. And so like, you know, and we all got earplugs on the stage, and Ian's introducing Mutiny, and I kept being like, dude, wait, my kick pedals are complete. Like, it was like I dropped a Lego set, and like I had to like reassemble them. And he was like, all right, let's get on the Total Drama Island grind set. And they're all looking at me, and I'm sitting there like rebuilding my pedals. And I'm like,
I had no idea. Yeah, I had no idea that he was trying to talk to me. I could not hear him at all.
Oh, it's funny as hell.
it was so bad. It was so bad.
It was but then we did the Grange like what, a day or 2 later?
2 days, I think. Yeah, it was awesome.
2 days later, and we fucking gave one of our best performances that we've done, and it was
Ever.
it went off. Shout out Borsari Cousins.
Shout out Borsa. Yeah, Ian, what, you were working a race that weekend, right?
Yeah, I think I was in Canada that weekend.
Not too far.
No, not a little light work.
Light work. Yes, we had Connor's cousin Ethan fill in for us. And that was a lot of fun.
What do you guys think has been Beneath Purgatory's defining moment, or turning point where you knew like it's turning bigger than what we imagined it would be?
For me, it was the second Firehouse show we played, the first Firehouse with Andrew. Because once we played a few shows at that point where people seemed to somewhat know our music, but generally not. But when we played Lord of the Meek, everyone was singing along to it and losing their fucking minds. And I was like, wait, you guys actually listen to this? You guys know, you know this? And that built up our confidence, I think, a ton. And I mean, it helped that I wasn't, our vocals weren't stuck behind a drum kit, like there's just so much more engagement you can get when you're standing up there versus when I'm sitting all the way back. And I think that was really the point where we were like, okay, this is awesome. Like we've got a little bit of ground that we have here. And as we were, putting together Martyr, we started realizing that the production was coming together, the songs were coming together, and like everything just kind of started falling into place from there. So I'd really say that second Firehouse show.
Ian,
I don't know if
Andy?
either of you guys
I think
have
no, the second Firehouse show, that was my second show ever that like I'd ever performed. So that was it was crazy just to have like people like moshing to like music that I'm performing is like always been just like this crazy like absurd dream of mine that I always thought was unobtainable, and then like we're fucking doing it, and it was really cool. It was a confidence boost, and it drove me to work harder on vocals because I really just thought I was subbing in for like a couple shows, and then I go back to just like driving up to Worcester to see them and shit. So, but I still wanted to make something of being a vocalist from that. So it pushed me to work harder on vocals, and then the relationship has lasted, and I keep working harder on my vocals, and we're gonna hear some weird shit going on soon. So
That's awesome. Ian?
Yeah, I haven't really felt like one defining moment, like one flashpoint, I guess. But at least for me, it's been real interesting just to see the constant progression of the band. So like with every release, we get we gain a little more traction, we get a little more popular, we get a little more like exposure and reach. And just to see that, it's really been like a slow and like we're definitely trending upwards. It's been a real like a slow and steady, but like that's kind of what I've been noticing. Is it's really cool to see how like with every release it's like we're picking up more steam, and every time you drop something new and it gains some traction, you're like, wow, man, we might actually be okay at this. Like, we might be able to make something out of this. So, but yeah, I don't know. I think our big flashpoint, our big turning point is still yet to come. I'm excited to see what the future has in store for it.
That was a great answer. That was a good answer. I like that. That's awesome. What would you say is your favorite band or artist in New England?
New England.
Um,
I mean, Necrolink kicks ass.
Can I just go down a list, honestly?
Go ahead.
So you got fucking the Culling,
Oh, I
Necroland,
fucking love the Culling, dude.
Ravager, Fatal Sacrament. I don't know if they're a band anymore, but from Connecticut, there's Inexorable Flesh. I think they've dissolved and become Hacksaw now, but they fucking rip. Their guitar player, Jacob, I met him in a Taco Bell once, very similar to how I met Logan. Like, I was just wearing a black metal t-shirt, and we like struck up a conversation about black metal. And so he's a really talented dude. I'm really excited to see what he's got coming. And then there's a band from the Boston area, dude I went to college with, Enzo, his band Repercussion. It's a very like Trivium sounding band, but their album As the West Cries is definitely one of my favorite New England releases.
I the band I return to the most, I mean I obviously I'm listening to the homies a lot, but the ones that I return to the most, definitely Guillotine. I like that sound that they have is like exactly my music taste. It's a mix of old school death metal and some classic thrash. It's that just pretty much sums up my taste. But yeah, Ravager, oh my god, can they release something already? Because they sound awesome. I love those guys.
Awesome.
They sound like a mixture of like Iron Maiden and modern Queensryche, which is also a great way to describe my music taste. We can just keep listing out local homies. Necrolent, Culling, we've already been mentioned. Fatal Sacrament, Funeral Thirst, Succumb and Become.
Fuck yeah, those guys rule.
Striga, Throw, God, I'm blanking on all these now as I'm thinking about it.
Mork Verdon.
Mork Verdon. Yeah, how did it take me that long to remember Mork Verdon?
And listen to Jack's solo project, A Cursed Ordinance.
A Cursed Ordinance.
A Cursed Ordinance. Yes.
Listen
hard.
to Chaos Music. Listen
Chaos
to
music.
Jeez, there's just
fucking Worcester Noise Greats, Aphasia.
Shout out to Fascia.
Shout out to Fascia. No, those are homies for real. Those are some day ones. Wretched Inferno, Matriphagy. Dude, Matriphagy kicks ass. If you like some old school Cryptopsy, you need to listen to Matriphagy.
Eradication of Unworthy Infants.
Yeah, dude, they rock. Bonginator. Who else? I'm drawing a bit of a blank right now. Clock Out. There's some homies in the hardcore scene. Do love Clock Out.
Punch Your Mom, not really.
What?
Punch Your Mom, not really.
Sure.
That was a meme that they had.
Oh, was it really? Oh, I missed out on that.
I could just be bugging out. That could have just been completely irrelevant.
I have no idea. But yeah, please go support the local scene though. My God, they're all awesome out there. They're all homies, and yeah, go support your local scene. Go support our local scene. If you're not local to New England, listen to all the bands that we just listed. They kick ass. Also, I know they're like pretty big, and they're definitely not a local band anymore. But that Vomit fourth album that came out last year, Seething Malevolence, I could not put it down. And proud to say they're from Connecticut. I don't live in Connecticut anymore, but I grew up in Connecticut, so that, Hartford area, let's go. Fucking Vomit fourth kicks ass.
I know they're not local or new, but Fate's Warning recorded their first album on the same street that my ex-girlfriend lives on in East Hartford, Connecticut. So that's just fucking cool. And I also love Fate's Warning. So dude, classic prog, you cannot beat it. Dream Theater killed classic prog.
Right. Ian, did you have a favorite New England band?
Yeah. Like I said, Necrolent, the Culling was probably my first favorite band because I was big into Lamb of God, and they were sort of similar to that. They had that kind of like groove metal like feel to them that I really fucking dig. Who else? Wretched Inferno was super good. I'm one of those weird guys that like I don't listen to death metal like on my own, but when I listen to it at a show, it's like the greatest thing I've ever heard. You know, it doesn't translate well in the studio. I've always found like death metal is always so much better live than what they can capture on the studio.
Bad take.
Absolutely not. I will stand by that till the day I die.
Listen to Bolt Thrower's Fourth Crusade on full blast and tell me it doesn't consume you.
Listen to The Bleeding by fucking Cannibal Corpse.
I even have that album.
I'm like the same way though, like with like hardcore music. Like I don't really listen to hardcore music like at home, but like when I go to a show and there's like a hardcore band playing, it's like
I will say the biggest thing in hardcore right now is a band called Knocked Loose. I know everyone's probably heard of them. And I saw that band live with my ex, and I fucking hate that band. They are atrocious. They are terrible.
You don't like SpongeBob on vocals?
No, I don't like SpongeBob on vocals. I really don't.
I kind of fuck with it.
Like, I don't know if I can talk shit because like they played Coachella. So like, I don't know. I mean, it's better than punching down, right? We'll punch up. But God, they were so
Something
bad,
like
and like their fans were just like punching each other and shit. And it was at a terrible venue too. College Street Music Hall in New Haven is a fucking terrible venue to go see a metal show. So, but like people were just like punching in each other and like kicking each other. And there's this one guy doing like fucking full on like ninja kick flips and shit, and just like kicking people in the head. And I'm just like, this is awful. That's not moshing. I'm sorry. That's not.
Yeah, that's
moshing.
Like a big thing in hardcore culture that kind of bars me from really digging it. I'm not a crowd killing guy. I'm not. I'm not gonna sit here and gatekeep what a mosh pit has to be, because I totally get that like slam and hardcore are going to have that in it. It's a part of the culture and it's a part of the music. It's not for me, man. And the thing that pisses me off is like there'll be even some local shows I've been at. I'll be standing far away. There's this one, I went to a local show after I finished a paper for grad school, and I was just fucking exhausted. I just wanted to go finish, like, see the homies, and I stood in the back. I didn't want to be part of any of that. Oh shit, I have to check my oil. I didn't want to be part of any of that. And some person comes up to me and starts crowd killing me and a few other people. We're all the way in the fucking back. The pit's all the way up front. And it comes up, I got decked in the face. And it's just like, come on. Like that's the shit that keeps me from getting into it.
Nah, I grew up on old school thrash, so I'm very much no fucking karate in the pit.
Well, I grew up on Kids Bop, but then I found old school thrash. So
J-Hoff Films, fucking that guy Chris used to just always be like, no karate in the pit.
Damn right.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely not a crowd killing guy either. I don't like that shit.
Two-stepping is a lot of fun though. I love two-stepping.
Oh, yeah.
Two-stepping goes off. Like I'll tell people to two-step during two-steppable parts of our music.
So Connor was just telling me, actually, our rhythm guitarist, he was like, yeah, I just got a wireless unit for my guitar. So during Cruel Bargain, I'm gonna two-step during that part while I'm playing. I'm like, yes.
That's gonna be so difficult to two-step and play that riff.
Well, as he's playing it, he's already doing he's already doing like goddamn high knees while he's playing the song.
Oh, yeah.
So
there's this video
motherfucker gets in a Zumba class while playing a show.
So look at that Bughead show, because I didn't even notice. I think because when it was happening, I was moshing myself, so I didn't.
No,
even
at the last Huskies show that I have a like. Someone sent me a video somewhere and was like, "Is this motherfucker doing like soccer warm-ups while playing?" And it's just,
If
He's
you have a
getting, like,
clip,
the
send
What
it.
I need. Yeah, no, it's like, oh my god.
Yeah, definitely. If you have a clip, send it. I would love to see that because that song goes hard. That's my favorite Beneath Purgatory song. Spoiler alert, #1 song on the list, but whatever.
Yeah, that's a fun one, man. It wasn't going to be a single for the longest. I don't think we realized that we wanted it to be our first single until like a couple weeks before we announced everything. Like we had just got back the masters from Zeus and we were like, fuck it, this song needs to be a single.
Did you go to Marc or did Marc come to you for the feature?
I went to Marc. So I went to both our features and I was like, look, you know, because in terms of Martyr, right? My voice on the album plays the first person point of view of Coach, and Ian's voice plays the third person narration. And there's a couple spots, both the Marc feature and the Hell feature, where it's coming from neither a third person or Coach. And I was like, you know what? Like we've never done a feature before, and I think that would be so much fun. And God, like Marc's voice is absurdly good. Like Jesus Christ, dude needs to get on some more death metal. And hey, quick plug, Harvest Manipulation coming back. I didn't mention it earlier because I always feel weird shouting out things that I'm part of, but I'm gonna do it anyways because it's you know, shout out Caleb and Taylor and Marc. Those motherfuckers work so hard. And look, I'm just the damn bass player.
Taylor
What?
is coming back to Harvest.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Taylor, what? Taylor's like back around, or I thought Taylor moved.
Yes, but he's got a motor vehicle that's been crapping out on him a ton, but still somehow works. And you know, things haven't been as crazy with college for him, so he's been pulling up. And those three guys, they started Harvest, right? I'm the new guy. But they work so fucking hard. And shout out Harvest comeback show in a couple weeks, August 16th. It's a Wednesday at Ralph's in Worcester. So
I'm gonna be there. So see that.
I need to get my bass fixed actually.
Harvest is gonna be a 4-piece.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited. I thought it was just gonna be the three of you guys. Last time, because it was the only time I saw Harvest was at Ralph's back in 2021, and it was a 3-piece.
Yeah,
Taylor
it was me,
not
Caleb,
there.
and Caleb and Marc. Yeah, Taylor is coming back. We play shows without Taylor if we don't have him, but if we do, oh my god, we sound so much better with him. So, anyways, quick aside, but and while we're out at it, speaking of the features, shout out Marc because Marc not only did the feature on Cruel Bargain and sounded fucking incredible, but he also they also recorded the drums on Martyr, and like seriously, like some of the cleanest drum recordings I've ever heard. I didn't have to do too much to the drums in production. I did a lot of bass boosting on the kick because I really wanted it to thump, and I think I did a little too much. But like, you know, the room that we recorded in has already some fantastic natural reverb, so I just added a little bit of reverb to the snare, but that was it. Excuse me. And it sounded amazing. Marc has done so much for Beneath Purgatory. I cannot stress enough just how much they've done for us, and like, you know, offering up the ability to practice in their space and getting us on shows, and you know, even way back in Ego Collapse, you know, giving us an opportunity with that, you know, with our shitty music. So I cannot shout out and thank Marc enough for everything that they've done for BP. Might as well be, you know, the sixth man. So yeah, to throw a basketball reference in there.
Yeah, Marc has done so much for the scene in general, and I don't even know what to compare them to, because like the everything, I feel like the whole like real, like because you know, you got the hardcore shit and that shit, but the real like underground black metal shit, that all revolves around Upside, you know, and the network that Marc formed. So yeah, huge shout out to Marc. Is there are there anything else that you guys like to cover? Anything you want to plug?
I mean, we should plug Zeus. I feel like we're stupid not to. Like, absolute homie. made our album sound so much better. For those of you who don't know, Zeus did our mastering for Martyr. He's done bands like Hatebreed, Queensryche, Suffocation, Shadows Fall. The dude's got a Wikipedia page, so that says enough. I met him at a Queensryche show, and he's just an absolute homie, like such a nice guy. It's funny, I've been to 4 Queensryche shows in the last year, and I talked to them at all 4 of them. He's such an awesome dude, super chill. Oh my god, like the albums, like mastering is not supposed to make that big of a difference. It's really just supposed to make everything feel like, you know, cohesive, and it did way more than that. Like he's a damn professional for a reason, so cannot stress enough how awesome that dude is. Yeah, and go listen to albums that he's done. You'll hear how good his production is. So yeah, shout out Zeus.
Anything else that you guys want to plug in? Shout out.
I shouted out everything, I guess.
Cool.
Tip your bartender. I hate when people go to shows and don't fucking tip the bartenders. Always tip your bartender.
Tip your bartender, damn it. And also, you know what? Damn it, shout out Jack too. Jack is such a homie and has been a faithful fan of BP. Austin as well. Both of those guys rock.
And Nolan. They came all the way up to New Hampshire to see us, the 3 of them.
Nolan will be filling in on bass for a show coming up here soon that Ian won't be able to make. So
Stupid real world commitments.
Wow.
why work a job? Why work a job? No,
Listen, man, until we make it big.
you're gonna be working for a long ass time then.
Work for BP.
Jesus Christ. I know.
Oh my
Also,
God.
I think it's fair to say that BP has some of the most like weird, interesting occupations that a metal band could have. Ian does camera work for races. Right. Wait. What is it? Short track. What?
Yeah,
races?
it's like local and regional stock car racing type thing. So it's taken me everywhere from Pensacola, Florida, up to Quebec City, as far west as like the Chicago area, Wisconsin, Nashville, the Carolinas, deep in Alabama banjo country, all of that. Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun.
And then what Phoenix used to work for Google, and he's working at some other tech company right now. Connor's also got a cubicle job. I forget exactly what he does. It's slipping my mind. Andrew, Andrew's got the craziest.
Andrew's fucking Spider-Man for a living.
Yeah, I work for a water company, and our primary bread and butter is we clean cooling towers that are on the tops of really big buildings, and they provide like cool water to like all the systems in the building. And we primarily drive into New York City and do the ones on tops of the skyscrapers. And so I'll be on top of these things on top of the skyscrapers with this awesome view of the city most every day.
Awesome. It's
No,
awesome
it's
when
a-
you're looking at a picture of it, but when you're up
It's-
there that high in the air, I'd probably shit myself.
Yeah, dude, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And like, I don't know, I'm so desensitized to it now. It's like, it's a good time. It's a good job. Shout out AMC services.
And then also all of that, and then meanwhile, I'm a fucking high school math teacher. So
Yeah, this dude teaches high school.
Shout out high school math class.
Open that up. It's
cold out there.
If I had
yeah.
a math teacher like
Read.
Logan, I might have actually like did well in math.
Right.
Oh, I'm
Well,
hard
what
as
grade
shit
do
on
you
my students. I'll be honest. I'm a tough teacher.
It would have
What
been like
grade?
hanging out with you in my free periods, listen to like Creator, Pleasure to Kill and shit. Shout out my actual history teacher from high school though, Matt Thompson. Fucking, I used to spend every free period with him listening to Parkway Drive, Killswitch Engage, just talking about metal. I've seen him at a bunch of go to like a show at the Oakdale Theater, and he's there, you know, casually see my history teacher, then go back to school the next day and be like, it's a good show, man.
Seriously though, if any of my future students are watching this and you want to come hang out at lunch and listen to Pleasure to Kill by Creator, like that is an open invite. But yeah. I think covered a lot of BP in the last
Covered a lot of BP.
2 fucking hours. Holy shit.
Where can people find you on social media?
Bro, Beneath _Purgatory _official on Instagram. I hope I got that right. Actually, I'm checking.
Don't do that. Don't do
did.
that.
Don't do what?
Don't do that.
Okay. On Instagram. Yeah, no, you know, shout out Instagram, Beneath _Purgatory _official. We got a YouTube channel that currently has one thing posted, and it was a preview to the album, so you might as well just go listen to the album. More stuff is coming though. Again, BP archives are going to come up. Maybe we'll post the old EPs. We're going to post some videos of old school sets from the original lineup back with like me, Jez, and Jimmy. We got a Facebook page. We got a Metal Archives. Go leave some reviews on our stuff on Metal Archives. Go drop a review. And yeah, that's that. We're on Deezer apparently. I don't know what Deezer is, but I keep saying Beneath Purgatory is now on Deezer, so it's thick.
No clue what it is.
So anyways, catch us. We have a Twitter that I haven't tweeted on in about a year. Maybe I'll have to bring
that was
back.
my job, wasn't it? Keeping up that Twitter, that was my job, wasn't it?
Well, it's called X now.
One job,
so.
Ian.
Oh well.
Sorry,
I'm sorry. Yeah, keeping up on X now. Yeah.
It's X now.
No, I'm calling it Twitter. Fuck Elon Musk.
Fuck Elon Musk.
Seriously though, fuck that guy. Yeah. Okay. Wait. I found the Twitter is official _BP band, and
Nice.
the header of it is a photo from Grisly Spectacle, so that says enough. And the description says soon.
Soon.
What?
Our last tweet, I tweeted on 4/19/2023, so not that long ago. Bruh, we so close to having a new song out. Yeah, we've had 9 of them to be exact.
Good job.
Oh, this is my favorite one. Just posted a photo, and it's a link to Instagram. I don't know if it's gonna like.
Oh, there it goes.
Just posted a
That's the
photo.
link. Nice.
I'll get on my breezy with that. Don't worry. So
The Twitter page is looking good.
just posted a photo. So yeah, I think that's
All
that.
right. Well, thank you guys for being my first guest. I appreciate you taking your time to answer all my questions, spend time with me. You know, it was really cool.
Subscribe to
Absolutely,
Circle
man.
Beneath.
Thanks for having us on.
Yeah,
a lot
dude,
of
thanks
fun.
for having us. Thanks for listening to our music and throwing down at the show.
I literally enjoy the fuck out of the music, and I wish I could make it to some more shows in the future. I definitely want to see Harvest, so I'll see you, Logan. If you two will be there at the show, I'll see y'all there too. We can throw
We'll
down.
see how work goes, but I want to go see that Harvest show.
It's on a Wednesday night, so good luck, Andrew.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, dude, thanks for all this. You know, we really appreciate the support and the fact that you put up with talking with our dumbasses for a while. And I'm excited to see that ranking video come out. I'm really curious how many of those old songs passed anything from the album.
Yeah, quite a few. I wrote the list, and then like I sat there and like kept re-listening to some songs to see like, oh, is this song really better than this one, or is it really better than this one? And like I switched it around a whole bunch of times, but I think I got a good list now. I'm like halfway done with like the actual video portion of it. I'm at like the 30-ish range and got to go all the way up to 1.
God, I thought you were gonna say the 30-minute mark, and I was like, Jesus Christ.
No, it's not that long. But
yeah, dude, I'm excited to see how it comes out. Let's start arguments in the comments. We want none of our fans to be civil. Hate each other.
No. Yes, hate each other. All have different opinions and have them all be objectively correct.
They are.
They
if you
are.
disagree with me,
Yeah.
please cut
Fuck you if you don't think The Key is the best song on the album.
Yes, thank you. If you don't think The Key is the best song on Martyr, you're dead to me. Fake fan, L+ ratio. Go listen to some real music like Kids Bop or Big Time Rush. Big Time Rush goes hard. Okay. So The Key is the only answer.
The key is the only answer.
Go listen to Big Time Rush. Do that regardless. You know,